So you're a home bartender, you're interested in tiki cocktails, and you're wondering when you should start incorporating them into your repertoire. In this video, I'm gonna be answering that exact question. My name is Ron Virpin. I'm a full-time medical doctor. I've been a home bartender for over 5 years now, and now I teach other busy professionals how to make cocktails at home. And tiki is a very important concept. It's something that I was interested about from the moment I first started. But for me personally, on my journey, I started this all in summer of 2020, and I decided at that time that I wasn't even going to get into any tiki at all. I wasn't going to even learn any recipes. I wasn't going to make any tiki cocktails until at least 1 year into my journey. And then it was really the summer of 2021 when I started learning recipes and I started making my first few tiki cocktails. I personally think that that's a pretty good timeline for when you should start getting into tiki. I know the people watching this video are going to be across all levels. Some of you are just going to be probably just starting your journey. Some of you might even be before your journey. And there's probably some people watching this that are 6 months, 12 months, or even several years into their home bartending journey. I think about 1 year is really that sweet spot of when you should start incorporating tiki cocktails. And the reason I think you shouldn't get into them too early is because tiki cocktails are famously quite complex. They oftentimes have many different ingredients. Most tiki cocktails have at least 5 ingredients. And the other thing is that most of them use rum, but they often call for different types of rum. So a single tiki cocktail may have 2 or even 3 different types of rum. And when you're first getting started out, that's just a little bit too much complexity for when you're early on in your home bartending journey. Because you really have to go through different texts to really understand the different types of rum and the different categories and what makes each rum so specific to that one drink. This book in particular, Minimalist Tiki, I think it's a great tiki book for home bartenders. Specifically this book and the associated blog, which is called Cocktail Wonk. You can just search Cocktail Wonk, W-O-N-K, on Google and you can find it. This book really breaks down all the different, it breaks down the core tiki recipe because there's so many different tiki cocktails. This essentially finds the most important tiki cocktails and also tells you which ingredients each cocktail has and how you can just overlap it. Because there's so many fancy syrups for these tiki cocktails, like cinnamon syrup and passion fruit syrup. And you don't want to go out and buy all of these. You want to just look in this and then see which are the cocktails that interest you the most. And you can say, oh, these 2 or 3 cocktails all use cinnamon syrup, so I'll go ahead and buy that first. So you don't have to buy out a huge, vast array of different syrups and things like that. And on the other side, when you look at rums, there's so many different categories. And the best book for that is called Smuggler's Cove. I don't actually have the physical copy. I have a digital one, an ebook. But Smuggler's Cove has a great section on rum. Honestly, the entire book is great because it also covers the whole history of tiki. But if you could just read that one section on rum, it categorizes all the different types of rum. And then it groups them. It does a numbered system. And then it puts popular brands into each category by the number. And then later on in that book, when you look at the specific recipes, it'll say this recipe calls for rum in category 1. And then you can go flip back and see, oh, what are the different rums in category 1? What are the different brands? And then when you go to the liquor store, I often have screenshots from that. As I mentioned, I have the ebook, so I have screenshots from that on my phone. And when I go to the liquor store, I can then reference that and see which exact rums to buy. So as you could probably tell from what I'm talking about right now, the whole tiki stuff gets pretty complex. I think it should only be reserved for intermediate and advanced home bartenders. When you're first getting started off, stick to mainly the classic recipes, a lot of the recipes that I feature on this channel. And they're also quite common on other bartending YouTubers. So stick with the classics when you first get started. Those recipes have stood the test of time. They're generally quite simple and the ingredients are readily available and you can have easy access to them. So it's far easier to make classic cocktails than to make something like tiki, where ingredients are harder to acquire. There's more ingredients, so it's more time consuming. And then the recipes are just straight up harder to learn. And you will often have to read things like Minimalist Tiki and Smuggler's Cove. I would say read both when you're first getting into this journey. That's what I did after about a year. But that's the thing. I waited a whole year, and then I started reading this and Smuggler's Cove together to really learn the different ingredients, the different rums, and the different recipes. And if you go on the associated website, Cocktail Wonk, That's when you can actually see all of the recipes for the most common tiki drinks. So far, I've actually only made one tiki drink on this channel. It's a recipe that I actually got from Smuggler's Cove, and it's called the Hurricane. And the only reason that I've done that so far is because that drink only contains 3 ingredients: just rum, lemon juice, and passion fruit syrup. So just 3 ingredients. It's a typical sour cocktail, but it falls into the tiki category. Is really an exception to the rule. The majority of tiki cocktails will contain more than one type of liquor or liqueur, and will often contain 5 or more ingredients. So Hurricane is a good one to start with, but really you shouldn't be looking into anything in terms of tiki for probably the first year of your journey. I would say that's a good sweet spot. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing more videos, and they mainly fall into 2 categories. Category 1 is specific tutorials on how to make specific cocktails. And then category 2 is like this video, where I just give general advice from my own home bartending journey and things that I've picked up over the past 5 years that I feel can help you all as fellow home bartenders. Thank you. Cheers.